Here's a question. Not, how much are you worth? A different one. Could you put $20,000 in cash in your hand within 30 days? Not eventually. Not. I could figure something out. 30 days. Try answering honestly before you keep watching. Most people hesitate right there. And that hesitation is the most accurate wealth test that exists. Not your net worth, not your salary, not the number on your investment app. Just that one question. How fast can you actually move? Here's why it matters more than anything else on your balance sheet. Wealth on paper and wealth you can use are two completely different things. You can own a house worth $500,000 and still be unable to cover a $5,000 emergency. You can have a thriving business and still be one bad month away from disaster. Because paper wealth doesn't pay bills. Only liquid wealth does. In 2008, thousands of people had more paper wealth than they'd ever had in their lives. Within 18 months, many of them were bankrupt. Their houses didn't vanish. Their portfolios didn't hit zero. What vanished was access. They owned assets they couldn't touch fast enough when it mattered. There's a term for what happens to people like that. It's called being a forced seller. A forced seller is someone who has to sell on someone else's timeline instead of their own. And here's the part nobody tells you. Forced sellers never get a fair price. Ever. If you need to exit a property in 30 days, expect a 20 to 30% discount minimum. That's not a weak market. That's just what illiquidity costs you. Now flip the question around. Why does this same 30-day number obsess the wealthiest investors on the planet? Warren Buffett has kept Berkshire Hathaway sitting on tens of billions of dollars in cash for years, even while the stock market climbed. Analysts asked him constantly why he wasn't deploying it. Charlie Munger, his partner for over 60 years, gave the real answer. Markets don't decline gently. They dislocate. And dislocation is exactly where fortunes change hands. If you're illiquid the moment that happens, you're not buying the opportunity. You are the opportunity. Someone else's cash becomes your discount. This is why wealthy people rarely panic during a downturn. It was never about confidence. It's about construction. They built their 30-day number long before the crisis arrived. Benjamin Graham, the investor who taught both Buffett and Munger, called this principle margin of safety. It wasn't pessimism, it was arithmetic. Assume you're wrong roughly a quarter of the time, and structure your finances so being wrong that often still doesn't wipe you out. Most people do the opposite. They build their entire financial life assuming they'll always be right. Then one layoff, one emergency, one bad month, and the whole structure collapses. So what actually counts is being liquid enough. It's not cash sitting in a checking account earning nothings either. That has its own quiet cost that almost nobody calculates. If inflation runs around 7% and your savings account pays you 2%, you're losing 5% of your money's real value every single year, while it just sits there. Over 15 years, that same pile of cash buys roughly half of what it buys today. That's not safety. That's slow, invisible confiscation. So hoarding cash fails. Overcommitting everything into property or a business fails too. There has to be a third option, and there is. Think of your money as moving at 3 different speeds instead of one lump number. Speed 1 is slow, durable value, land, property, things that don't vanish overnight, but also don't move overnight. Speed 2 is active capital, a business, investments compounding through reinvestment. This is usually where most of your growth actually comes from, but it's slow to access. Speed 3 is capital you can move within days, not weeks. This is your oxygen. It's what lets you breathe when the other 2 speeds get stuck. Most people never build Speed 3 on purpose. They just spend whatever happens to be left over at the end of the month, which means the day an opportunity or a disaster shows up, they have nothing loaded and ready. Ask yourself the honest version of the question again. If the best investment opportunity of your life appeared tomorrow, could you actually act on it? If your answer is, I'd have to sell something first, you've already lost the moment. If your answer is yes, but only by going into debt, you've broken the same rule from the other direction. Speed 3 capital isn't fear money sitting untouched in a drawer. It's ammunition, kept loaded on purpose, so you can fire the moment the target actually appears. Here's the honest inventory almost nobody has done. List everything you own, then sort it by one real question. Could this become cash in 30 days without a fire sale discount? Most people discover something uncomfortable. 70 to 90% of what they own is stuck, which means they are exactly one crisis away from becoming a forced seller themselves. You can't fix this overnight. You can't sell half a house tomorrow, but you can stop feeding the stuck categories and start rebuilding the liquid one. Every extra dollar goes towards speed 3 until the balance restores. That's it. That's the entire fix. Not a new investment, not a new strategy, just a boundary you finally decide to protect. Because that boundary was never there to slow you down. It's there so nothing can force you to move. Not the market, not a bank, not a bad month, not anyone else's timeline. You decide when you sell. You decide when you buy. That's what this number actually protects. Not your comfort, your control. So go back to the question one more time. How fast could you really put $20,000 in your hand? If the honest answer bothered you, that discomfort is the most useful thing this video gave you. Because now you know exactly where the gap is. And a gap you can see is a gap you can close. You didn't lose to the market last time things got hard. Most people don't. You lost to your own structure. And structure is the one thing you're actually allowed to rebuild before the next one arrives.